I don't treat me like a precious princess, so why would anyone else? I'm excited about this topic. The reason you're here is much different than necessarily wanting to have better boundaries or doing shadow work or changing your mindset. Those are interesting topics, but what you're after is the love of your life. What you want here is a deeply loving relationship with someone who chooses you, who is consistent with you, who is attractive and maybe strong and in their power, someone that you feel you can grow beside, someone who challenges you in all the right ways, someone you feel like you are coming home to, and someone that you can lean into and be yourself with and be totally accepted by. And that is the love that I wish for you too. And so often, what I see happening in the women that I work with and women that I meet is that you have so much to offer. You are competent, you are creative, you're beautiful, you are good at conversation, you're a good listener. I know I'm assuming these things, but I already know. And then it comes to relationship, and you end up picking these guys who are just giving you breadcrumbs, and you end up in this cycle where you take the attention because it feels good, and then they pull away and that feels so bad, but now they're kind of on this pedestal, so you keep wanting to prove your worth and show them that you can be the person to give them the love that you can see that they want. And it's heartbreaking to watch, and also I can honor the version of me that did exactly that. That could basically, without even knowing I was doing it, I would pick the man in the room who didn't want a relationship, flirt my way into getting his attention, and then end up in a 2 to 3 to 6 month cycle of dating and seeing him here and there, feeling exciting about it when he did want to hang out, and then feeling really devastated that it wasn't actually going to lead to a committed relationship. And it was like the connection would deepen, but the commitment never deepened. And this is something that I've just like been seeing in my mind for the first time, and thinking of a few clients who had this same loop too, where it feels like there's forward momentum in the relationship because maybe the amount of time you spend together increases and the depth that you know them likely really increases. But the reality is that the level of commitment that they are giving you, whether it's talking about the future, just naming to you how they are looking into the future with you, bringing you around and into their life, that is what actually stays at the 0 point in situationships generally. And this is what makes it so painful, because there's no denying that you have deepened a connection and a knowing of this person, and at the same time you're actually not getting your needs met if what you want is to go into a committed relationship. So I see this trap happening over and over. And I just want to tell you that you have an option where the men that you attract are the ones that are chasing you down, that are being patient for you if that's what you need, where they're asking you for your number, they're following up with you, they're organizing dates, they're picking you up, they're doing thoughtful things, and really creating a life with you, planning future travels with you, talking about what they see for the future of their life and their kids and marriage. And it doesn't feel like this faraway thing that has nothing to do with you. It feels like now with you, because they are giving you that type of energy and putting their attention on you, because it's not that men don't know how to do that. In fact, when they are ready to do that, they are usually pretty quick to be committal when they're ready. But what so often happens is we end up chasing the ones that actually are unavailable to give us that and are not ready. And that chasing of the kind of like uncatchable rabbit, whatever metaphor we put into it, is a sign that I don't believe that I am actually worthy of being chosen. So I'm going to put my sight on this unattainable target to continue to prove to myself my underlying belief that I am not worthy of being chosen. So let's talk about the woman who really embodies security and therefore attracts secure men. You've probably seen this woman, and you can see how men just like flock to her. They want to do stuff for her. Maybe you can think about this person through a movie or a show or someone that you know. This woman who just gets a lot of respect, but also people want to date her and they want to commit to her. She's been in a lot of committed relationships, or she has, maybe you already know her as a wife with an amazing husband who's like so devoted to her, but at the same time not in this like nice guy fawning way. He's a provider. He's like driven, and I might not be painting your perfect picture. I'm just giving you an example to feel into this woman. And the difference is she has a sense of self-assuredness. So a woman who is deep in herself just doesn't need validation or attention in the same way that someone who is disconnected from themselves does, right? So, of course, your work is deepening this connection to yourself. And this can honestly come through spending time with yourself, figuring out what you like and actually giving it to yourself. Women tend to be so guilty of this. I'm guilty of this, of knowing what I like, but being unwilling to give it to myself. Now, what mirror does that behavior put out into the world? I'm putting out the mirror of, I don't give to me, I don't choose me, I don't go over and above for me, I don't treat me like a precious princess, so why would anyone else, right? We're just a mirror. Whatever we're receiving from an external world is a mirror to something within us. And sometimes we get these beautiful experiences where someone is mirroring to us something deeper than what we can see within ourselves. They see us in a way where they can really acknowledge that kind, beautiful, talented woman in you that you don't even acknowledge. But sometimes we are just too disconnected from that. But back to what I was saying, if I'm not treating myself like I would want to be treated by someone else, then of course I'm not going to attract that. So the woman who is attracting dream men, high level men, highly committing, loving, conscious, deep men, is deep within herself. And she's able to be present with herself, and she's able to stay in her body. She's able to honor her boundaries and her needs, and she makes sure that she is taken care of first and foremost, so that she can show up as the girlfriend or the partner or the wife that is the lover, that is in devotion, that is able to receive because she has her own internal safety. Sometimes what men can feel is our lack of foundation within ourselves. And if we don't have a safe place within our own energetic body, within your spine or your heart or your solar plexus, wherever you feel it, your mind, however you see it, if we don't have that, then we're kind of constantly in more of like a swimming energy. We don't feel our own feet on the ground. So when we meet someone that does have that, or who we want this thing from, like this stability and this okayness, then we start to put our energy on them on a way that doesn't feel good. And that can feel a little like it's taking from them, and it feels very collapsy. And as a woman who can handle herself really well and who probably handles your job and your own household, it's almost not really rooted in reality that you need to be collapsing in that way, or like tipping into any of this needy or desperate energy with a man, because you actually have all the skills and the evidence that you've been taking care of yourself for your whole life, or at least the last decade plus. So what we are seeking to do is kind of heal our own inner imbalance, the part of us that is scared or in victim or doesn't want to take care of ourselves or is in collapse. This is wounded feminine, and calling on the part that's like, wait a minute, I am the whole package. I know what I have to offer. I have refined myself over the years. I have learned about who I am and what I want and what I like and what feels good in my body. You actually have it all and you know it all, but it's when you walk through the world with this energy that you will start to attract people that see it clearly too, that want to commit into the relationship instead of anything that is like push, pull, hot and cold situationship energy, because that woman just wouldn't tolerate that. It would last like less than a month probably. Being this woman Also requires us to keep an eye on the energy that we bring into dating dynamics, an energy that we bring into a romantic relationship that we want to be polarized and connecting and flirtatious. When we bring subtle energies of control or mothering, we are likely going to shut down attraction really quickly. And this can be really unconscious, but it can show up in taking the role of the pursuer by organizing everything in terms of plans or going over and above to figure out details. I understand where that comes from. I've done it. It comes from this excitement of like, I want to spend time with this guy. I want us to do something you like. I want us to experience something new together. I want to have a good time and I want him to like me. So I'm going to show him. But it's very pursuer energy. And sometimes when we do that, we're like swiping the masculine role out from his feet. And what we want to be doing is sitting back and receiving and experiencing him. When we allow ourselves to be enough in the moment that we're experiencing the person we're with, rather than in the future making up fantasy, or in the past worried about other things, or is this relationship going to go like that? No, that's how we decide. We decide through the present. How am I feeling with this person right now? And interesting thing about women is we have only so many eggs. And because lots of human behaviors in general are driven by biological functions, your body wants to be conservative with who we consider letting get close to these precious eggs. So if a person, for example, literally smells bad to you, the pheromones are off a little bit, you might not realize it consciously, but something in your body's like, no, this wouldn't be a good reproductive match. But just to take this concept broader, it just shows us that the woman is actually the one selecting. Men can endlessly try and reproduce. We do not have that many choices. So you should be sitting back to witness, is this person a safe, mature, healthy choice for my body? And obviously that's not just about having kids, but I'm just telling, or like pointing to how on a biological level you get to be the choosy one, you know. The whole point is to give you sort of an energetic orientation to how different it is to being the one seated back, receiving, versus the one engaged and penetrating your energy into the dynamic and into making things happen. If you want to be in a man who is in that pursuing energy, provider energy, career driven, he does need to be able to trust that you can handle yourself. There's quite a few teachers in the space of like polarity and sacred union that talk about this idea, and men's work, that talk about the idea that a man's purpose actually has to come before his relationship. And the reason that is because if men aren't committed to their purpose, there will be something missing in the flow of their energy most of the time. And I think I made a TikTok video about this once, talking about this. So there's two scenarios. One, if a man is in his purpose, but it's not fully fledged, like he's kind of figuring it out, maybe he's really into his art or ideation stage, he will likely not commit to you because that is his number one priority right now, and it's taking all the different parts of him. Now on the other side, there's the man that's lost for purpose. He doesn't know where he's going, what he's doing. He's kind of flailing around, unsure, maybe not even really working towards anything. That man might commit to you. He might even have a lot of time for you. But what sometimes happens is that comes with this very interesting sort of mommy issues dynamic where he's now looking for you to lead him or looking for you to take care of him so that he doesn't have to lead himself. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand how you can best set yourself up for success in a dynamic, in a relationship that you want. So if you want a man that's going to be in his purpose, remember, it takes his capacity and he needs to be able to trust you. This is kind of where this whole thing was coming from. He needs to trust that you can handle yourself, and that trust gives him what feels like freedom to be able to be in his other modes and get the things done that he needs and be able to go to the gym. And most men have quite a high value for freedom. And freedom can absolutely be cultivated in a romantic dynamic so that both partners feel that they can express in the way that they want to and create and move their life force energy through the universe in a way that feels expansive and not restricting or trapped. A man, like anyone else, like any animal, does not want to be caged or bossed around or controlled. So a woman who is attracting this type of man is not doing that. We don't do that when we trust ourselves. When we know how to take care of ourselves, then the moment that he is there, offering the presence that he now has, because we didn't drain it through being nitpicky or naggy behavior, we get to have all of him again. You get to have all of him in those moments, in the evenings or the dates, whatever it is. But if our energetic tentacles of control and jealousy and handling things are reaching out, it's likely not going to create the result that you want. Now, I don't want this episode to sound like you have to do this and you can't do that and this is wrong or like lectury. I'm just like revealing what I have studied and learned, practiced, embodied, and what has also worked for me and clients in terms of magnetizing this type of relationship. So I'm trying to paint the picture of how it works well and where it sometimes doesn't work well. And if that's landed for you with inspiration or a feeling of like being connected to your power and just like, I hope I just dropped something in where you're like, yeah, okay, I am the prize. I don't need to take these breadcrumbs. You are reaping the benefits of being the prize. And if that's not happening, then that's when we have to go in and maybe deepen our connection. How are we holding ourselves? Is our feminine energy balanced? What's our relationship to our self-worth? So that work is what we do inside Becoming Secure. Within my community space that I mention in almost every episode, because it's videos, it's guided somatic practices, it's live coaching, it's live workshops, it's like course, coaching, community, everything you need to actually get a result, basically, and start to feel more like this woman who knows herself deeply and fiercely, like the it girl that we want to be, that shows up, that is like, she's magnetic. The only difference between her and you, which could also be seen as the only difference between someone operating like from an anxious attachment versus a secure attachment, is what's happening in her nervous system and her relationship to herself. I would love to be like, if you just follow these like 5 steps and act like this, you can attract this perfect dream man. You could do that. You could play like dating manipulation games, like what do they call it in the men's world? Pickup artistry. You could. And you would probably get someone that you could date. But will there be longevity in the relationship? Probably not, because it's an internal state that is required to be cultivated. So that's what we do inside my membership. So much somatic work around like self-trust, self-assuredness, confidence, inner peace. That's what makes you so magnetic. And there's at least 4 or 5 deeper trainings on being more in your feminine energy and balancing masculine and feminine, which plays a big role in this topic. So if there wasn't a good time before, now would be an excellent time to come into the space, because this is a topic that's really alive and you will get access to plenty more support and tools about these topics. Okay, I think I'm going to end it there. That feels like the end of this stream of consciousness that I wanted to get into a video. Would love to hear your insights or deeper questions in the comments. Please let me know what landed. Give this video a thumbs up if you made it this far, and I will see you in the next video, which is called Healing What's Buried Deep. So we're going to talk more about deeper nervous system work and somatic stuff and subconscious stuff there, specifically the wound of not enoughness and the wound of wrongness. So if that pings anything for you, a topic that you'd like to explore a little bit more, I'll see you in that video. Thanks for being here. Ciao, ciao.